Hello and a warm welcome back to our channel. Do you know that your signature carries a lot of consequences? In other words, what you sign matters. Before you start a job, you are asked to sign a contract of employment. Many people sign without reading. Many others sign without understanding, while still others sign without asking questions. But what you sign can affect your rights on the job. It can affect your job security. It can affect the protection against harm that could be provided for you on the field of work. It can affect your pay package and how it is calculated. It can affect the way your employer treats you. It can affect any in-service training or promotion training or arrangement that may or may not be available to you. And it can affect the way that your job comes to an end. On this video, I shall be focusing attention on the contract of employment, how it affects you. Do not forget that the channel is HumanRightsHeralds, a half hour with Ogochukwu Onoha, the human rights wizard. And I am still your humble anchor. It is the situation in Nigeria that many workers simply get to the job with no formal agreement, and they begin to work and simply hope that their employer gives them the best treatment possible. But in doing this, many do not know that they have subtly signed their death warrants. They have simply placed themselves into the hands of the employer to do what he likes with. In the course of this video, we shall be asking and answering the question, why do many Nigerians walk into a job which offers them no protection and simply hope that the mercy of God will make things smooth and harmonious for them? Now let's take one thing first. Before you assume an appointment, that you start work somewhere in an organization, you are expected to have had a discussion with the employer. The discussion, verbal discussion, that is, or spoken word, discussion by spoken words, but sometimes it can be by conduct. It's also acceptable. Now, having resumed that job, it is expected, and we are talking about the provisions of the Labour Act. The Labour Act is an act of the National Assembly of Nigeria that regulates the employer-employee relationship. That act says that within 3 months, not more than 3 months, within 3 months of your starting work somewhere, the employer should present you with a written copy of the contract of employment that you had with him. Then you will go through the provisions of the contract to ascertain that it contains what you originally discussed with the employer. And then you append your signature on it. And then you take your own copy, while the employer takes his own copy for filing in the office, in the establishment where you work. What are the items you should insist on having on the contract of employment. The first one is the name of the employer or group of employers, their addresses, their phone numbers, and such other particulars. Secondly, a statement of any undertaking that you, the employee, and your employer agreed on. When I say undertaking, I mean promises, pledges, and acceptances. Thirdly, the address of the place of work, the date of the commencement of your job, and the date at which it is expected to expire. The date at which the job is expected to expire. Then, the nature of the job. In other words, what kind of duties are you expected to be performing while at work? All of this should be specifically spelled out, so that if the job is one that involves risk, for instance, if you work in a warehouse, an industrial warehouse, where every day when you are at work, you are expected to be bringing heavy objects down from shelves, you naturally will need a helmet and very thick hand gloves and strong pair of boots, so that you are protected from an industrial accident, because a heavy object could drop from a shelf onto your head and either kill you or injure you seriously. It can drop on your toes or on your arms. So, the contract of employment provides for protection against hazards at work, depending on the nature of the job. Then, fourthly, the contract of employment provides for how long the job is to last. If it's a job that will last for a fixed duration, how would it expire? In what manner would the job expire? Should there be notice from the employer or notice from the employee? Assume the employee is the one who wants to terminate the contract. This video is the episode 16. On our episode 15, we talked about the rights of workers on the job. I would like to refer you to that video so that you better understand what I'm talking about here when I talk about terminating a contract with or without notice. Our previous video, episode 16, is on fired overnight. What can you do? I recommend it to you. You need to watch it to understand what I mean here. Then, fifthly, the contract of employment should talk about conditions of service related to, one, the hour of work. How long are you going to be on duty each day? So, how long is your official hours? Secondly, holidays and holiday pay. Are you entitled to observe all national holidays? And when you're on holiday, are you entitled to payment or not? And then, provisions about sick payment and sick leave. Are you entitled to a sick leave when you are ill? And when you are ill and assume you are given a sick leave, are you entitled to a sick payment or a sickness allowance to help treat yourself when you are ill? What about such other allowances that make the job easier for you to do, like provision of work tools, like the helmet, boots, pair of boots, and pair of gloves that I mentioned earlier on? Are you entitled to them? Or do you buy them from your salary? What about canteen service? Provision of accommodation, official accommodation, official car if you're entitled to it, wardrobe allowance, office clinic, and all that. All of these are aspects of condition of service that have to be spelled out. And then, the contract of employment is usually referred to as an appointment paper. The appointment paper should be placed in the office at a place where it is accessible to all workers who want to read them. That is, if you are not able to get a copy, if the organization is not able to give you a copy that you can take home, then it must be put in a file in an office, an establishment, where all workers can access them. All the workers involved can access them. It is not our duty on this video to say everything about the appointment paper or contract of employment. We have only highlighted those areas that are salient, those areas that affect our workers every day. Now, we want to ask the big question: how it affects you. How does the signing or non-signing of the contract of appointment affect you, the worker? I would say the effects are overwhelming. Let us take a look at a Nigerian scenario. The employer can dismiss overnight. Some employers even have the audacity to slap a worker. Some employers insist on having sex with their female workers before the female worker can be promoted. It is called sexual harassment at the place of work. And of course, there are some female executives that insist that their male secretaries or their male drivers have sex with them. Sexual harassment. Otherwise, the driver could be fired or be denied promotion. What about discrimination based on gender? Non-promotion because you are a woman or you're a woman and do the same job as your male colleague, but you are paid lower. The male colleague is paid higher because he is a man. A contract of employment affects this. What about the absence of the appointment paper, the complete absence? The employer simply decides not to sign any agreement with you because this gives him a free hand to treat you in ways he deems necessary. That is, you simply become a slave and no longer a worker. You become an industrial slave, only living to work for the progress of the employer and for your own retrogression. So, the effects of the non-existence of a contract of appointment in an industrial job is overwhelming. The employer decides how much to pay you. You cannot negotiate. He can review your salary upward or downwards. Without your permission, you have no choice. He fines you at the slightest provocation. The word surcharge has become very popular, especially in Nigeria's private sector, where this kind of treatment is more endemic. He surcharges, meaning he takes a large chunk from your salary because you were 1 hour late to work, or you attended a meeting late or didn't attend at all for whatever reason. And sometimes he simply wakes up one morning and fires you. No notice, no previous warning, no query, no previous suspension. You are simply fired. And some workers have become house helps in disguise, because there was no formal agreement that includes job specifications. And because there is no such job description, whatever the employer decides is your job. Today, you become a motor park tug. You are unloading and unloading items from the employer's car. Tomorrow, you are sent to the tap to fetch water for the employer's family. The next day, the employer's wife sent you to the market to do shopping for her. Another day, the employer sent you to his house to help his wife mop the house and wash clothes for his children and his wife, and of course for himself. And if there is an event in the establishment, a staff is used as an MC. The normal thing is to hire an MC who is to be paid for his job. But since a staff can speak English, he can be an MC. And being an MC becomes a part of his job. He's not given any extra payment for that. And to make the event work as planned, the female workers become caterers. They pass a night in the establishment cooking coolers of rice to prepare for the event, something that should have been contracted to a caterer. The staff are used to do it. I am sure that if you work in one of these establishments, especially schools, you understand, you may be smiling, because this is exactly what happens in such establishments. I was once in a school where I was a staff, and then during our staff meeting, the principal told us what happened a day earlier, and we were all shocked. A form teacher had to cut some hair out of the head of a female student whom she had told several times before to trim her hair. The girl went home and informed her father. Her father was the GOC commanding one of the barracks, one of the military barracks in Enugu. So the GCO brought a troop of soldiers to the school and forced the teacher, the form teacher, to write on a 20-leaf exercise book, fill all the pages with, "So long as I stay and work in this school, I will never do this again." And the teacher wrote this until she filled a 20-leaf exercise book and signed her signature. And the principal signed his own below hers to support the pledge she had made. When the principal told us this at the staff room, many of us were shocked. Because we are told, or we are given the impression, that there is strict discipline in the military. And the GCO forgot that the school is also an authority, that a child in the school should also obey the rules of the school. But that is how I handled many Nigerians. I was a volunteer with a human rights organization when this happened. And I was wondering why the principal didn't. Because if he had insisted, if he had told the GCO, that is General Officer Commanding, GOC, that this is the rule of the school and his daughter, being a student, was obliged to obey. If he had insisted, possibly there might have been some beating, but the matter would have been taken up, and members of the public will know about it, and he and the school would have obtained justice. But fear did not permit him, something that we all suffer. So, That is that for today. Remember that our video will have a greater reach if you help us in spreading it. There are many people out there who like to benefit from this video. So therefore, I ask you to like this video and share it so that it will reach a greater audience. And then subscribe to our channel so that we'll give you more of this kind of videos so that you can receive my videos directly whenever I publish one. I ask for your feedback. Place your comment on the comment section. Tell me your impression of our videos. Tell me what you think we can do to make our videos serve you better. Tell me what other area of human rights you think we should talk about. I look forward to hearing you. If you do not want to comment, you can send me an email at humanrightsheralds.wizard@gmail.com, or you can call the hotline 0806-5422-624, or send me a WhatsApp post at 091-333-01790. I invite you to join me on our next video. Our next video will be the 17th episode of Human Rights Heralds, and it will focus on maternity protection. Maternity protection. Maternity protection. What you can do. As I look forward to seeing you, remember, be law-abiding and stay out of trouble. And do not forget our slogan: know your rights, protect your rights, and defend your rights. Bye-bye, and take care of yourself.